Have you always loved Schubert, or are you like some of us who your favorite thing is what you're doing at the moment?
Well, to, to answer your question, I try to make sure that what I'm doing at the moment is my favorite thing. So I really try to make sure that I only, I get involved in things that I really care about and feel strongly about. When it comes to Schubert, it does hold a very special place, and in a weird way, I came to it sort of as a detour. It so happened that I grew up listening to a lot of Mahler. It's just the way it happened, and I, I got to know the symphonies, well, very early on, and so somehow it really became something I really felt very, very strongly about, very, very close to. And then I came to Schubert much, much later on, through the piano music, of course. But then, at some point, I felt a very, very strong connection between the music of Schubert and the music of Mahler. And because I felt a very, very strong personal connection to the music of Mahler, it resonated very strongly. And then suddenly I saw where it came from. Then I saw that Mahler really comes from Schubert, and that Schubert is really the source for a lot of what Mahler is about. And of course, I don't get to play much Mahler as a pianist. But I do get to play Schubert because there's plenty of piano music and it's all so wonderful and so amazing. So there's that connection for me that just on a personal level is really very, very strong. But of course, like I said, Schubert is the source of that. I think Schubert says things that really no other composer says. And that, obviously that's true for every great composer. That's why they're great. But Schubert, in a way, is really a world in and of itself. And therefore, I don't think it's a coincidence that his influence is only felt much, much later. Probably not until Mahler, really. You find some of it in Bruckner, but even that is, considerably later. And so, I think the one thing that attracts me to Schubert, as much as anything else, is the coexistence of the naive and the threatening, the dark and the seemingly bright side of life. And I think this existential feel to a lot of his pieces, I feel very, very drawn to. I think, to me, it's amazing how he can be profound, extremely profound, not only in pieces that are 45 minutes long, but sometimes pieces that are 5 minutes long. I think a short song or a moment musical, for example, they can be so amazingly profound, and so rich in their expression, even though they're very, very short. That I feel really like his music basically goes beyond its time frame. In other words, a sonata of 45 minutes often ends in a way that you feel like it's actually continuing. What you got to see is just part of it, but it's really a journey that goes on. And so you sort of join some of it in the beginning, and then you leave off, somewhere at the end. But it seems like the music really goes beyond its scope. And I think, the Mahler symphonies are like too. The fact that he quotes symphonies, between each other, from one to the other, and Schubert does that too in his pieces. I think maybe that has to do with it. I think maybe the fact that the music, it doesn't really end with the piece. It's a concept, and it goes on somewhere else. There are so many facets to his music, so many fascinating aspects, so many ideas that I feel are really connected to what our life is about. It's all, a lot of the time, it's very philosophical in a truly, truly endlessly fascinating way. So,
Yeah, I like the way you say naivete
yeah,
versus profundity or darkness. Yeah.
yeah, I think a lot of it is about that. and he got it. I think he may have gotten it from Mozart, because the early Schubert is very heavily influenced by Mozart, and Mozart has that too sometimes. Not only the late Mozart, actually, even earlier pieces, but of course in Schubert it becomes more prominent in a way. You know, you have really some of the most shocking, violent music alongside the most serene
Right.
and ethereal